right, so welcome back to another episode of Inside Access Control. I'm very excited today to have Joe Grillo from ACRE join me today. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you, Lee?
Very good. I appreciate you making the time. I know things are crazy right now, and there's a lot going on, so extremely excited to have you do this, so thank you.
My pleasure. It's nice to be talking about something other than contingency plans.
Yeah, it's funny. That is the word right now. That big contingency and business continuity seem to be the hot topic of bingo words. So I guess before we start off, why don't you just real quick give an introduction to yourself, a little background. You have a rich history in the market. People joke and say, and I think it's true, that you're on the Mount Rushmore of the access control and security marketplace. So you've made a big impact. So if you would share a little bit about that.
Maybe that just makes me one of the oldest guys around still. But anyway, I've been in the access control industry for over 30 years. I had the opportunity to, work as an integrator for many, many years. Most people probably aren't aware of that, but probably best known for being one of the founders of HID. Founder meaning it was part of Hughes Aircraft when we did a management buyout of it back in the mid-90s. It was a great opportunity to learn the access control industry because we dealt with literally everyone in the industry, internationally, globally. It was a great experience. And when we sold it to Asablo, I continued there for another 7 or 8 years. Most recently, I founded ACRE in 2012. So founder and CEO of a business that's, somewhat become or working on being an aggregator and building up of an electronic security systems and solutions provider with a focus on access control, though that's not 100% of what we do. So that's Joe Grillo.
Topical now with everything that's going on. I just want to ask, how are you doing? The companies, the people around you?
Personally, I'm doing great. Traveling a lot less. That's not all bad. As a regular thing, I typically visit all of our businesses regularly. Haven't been doing as much of that. Company's doing great. Our company and our business has been quite strong. We're seeing that tail off a little bit in Europe, so maybe that's a little ahead of the U.S., but really close to an on plan, and we're operating. We've had no, knock on wood, real instances of health or safety issues with our employees. As everyone knows, security is considered an essential business, so we've kept all the doors open with most people working from home and continue to do business as usual while really keeping our finger on the pulse of the ongoing inflow of business. And we will continue to do that.
So if we talk about, if you sort of phase before coronavirus, after coronavirus, and the crisis that we have currently now, phase changes and changes that are happening, there's like mobile and a bunch of things that were happening within the industry that are either not as happening now or are going to be accelerated going out of it. And we talk about them as phase changes. I guess from your point of view, if you had to pick a couple that you're seeing that you believe will impact the business currently now, but then also coming out of this, what are a couple that you would identify?
Well, it's the one I think will be interesting to watch. And going back to my days at HID when I used to have prognosticators of our industry, typically not in the industry, say that cards were going to go away because biometrics would drive the ID of the future. Clearly that hasn't happened. But will there be a greater use for biometrics in what people would like maybe call frictionless access control, where there's a little less desirability to touch things, let's say, in the current environment. So I think we'll see some maybe increases in momentum on that. I think some of the other changes, maybe, will things move toward the cloud a bit quicker? We've certainly seen acceleration of cloud-based access control, but it's still quite a small part of the market. But given what we hear, which is, very often in this environment, having, installers come on site, which can be a potential risk. Is there more of a momentum to have cloud-based systems where, at least for some activities, you don't need to have installers come on site to service the access control system? So those are a couple I think we'll see. Some of the others I think will just be kind of reinforcing if there's more separation of people, because there's a desire to have more separation in people. Well, there'll be more integration work in wireless locks, and there'll be more access control in general. So I think those are just trends that may be reinforced by the current environment.
I'm aligned there as well. So the frictionless, seamless, and touchless that you said. The cloud and the remote access capabilities of that. Curious to your thoughts on visitor management. Seems to be also getting a new life, where it was like a feature about a clipboard before going digital to now we're starting to see that that's somewhat of an essential of understanding who's in the building and who isn't.
And I think and I know I really appreciate what you're doing and enjoy your venue or whatever the right word is for shared technology, and appreciate the pushing of technology. technology. And while sometimes our industry does move slower, we don't want to be on the old tech island forever. Even if some of our customers, kind of keep us there. But you mentioned things like visitor entry, and if you look at that in all the different wireless lock platforms, which continue to grow, a lot of our time and effort is spent on the integration work. And integrations is something we talk about all the time, whether we're integrating to video, to biometrics, to new wireless lock platforms by some of the big folks there, our partners there, or visitor entry systems. That's where a lot of our development dollars and hours and time is spent.
I'm curious to see how that evolves because it seems like in order for the industry to go fast, and not specifically on like your companies having to integrate with it, but the way that products and services are set up to make that process a lot easier. Because in a lot of ways, you do burn a lot of hours and a lot of manpower working on things that the solution is needed to be able to work, but the time spent in order to do that seems like it could be shorter.
There's not a lot of open standards in our industry, so you can't, if you integrate to the latest Allegiant platform, that work may not help you in the latest Assa Abloy platform or the latest Dormakaba platform. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's hard work, it's effort. And it's not as exciting as things like mobile credentials and things like that, but our end user clients want a fully integrated seamless system, and that's how we can give that to them, by doing those integrations.
So I guess last question I'll leave you with is if any advice that you might have for the integrator community, because that seems to be one that right now, talk about essential. If it wasn't for a lot of them, a lot of the products wouldn't be getting on the job sites right now. So definitely essential. And then just in general to the marketplace.
Well, look, our integrators are very loyal to our products, and we like that, and we're going to continue to work with them. Everyone's going through a tough time, obviously trying to take advantage of any of these government programs to help with financial support is something that we would encourage. And also using this time to make yourself smarter. We're running webinars and online training sessions that are so oversubscribed compared to the typical times, but that's not a bad thing. Obviously, we wish we weren't in this environment, but use that time wisely to get educated, to learn more about the technologies that are out there, to keep your people trained. And, we'll come out of this. Most downturns we've seen in this industry, and we've been through many of them, the security industry comes out stronger. The access control, I think particularly that sector may end up with greater requirements coming out of some of what the result of this pandemic is in terms of separation of people, access control. So we'll come out of it. We'll be stronger. We'll survive, and we're here to help in terms of all of our customers.
Great words of hope and advice. I appreciate that. So if people want to get a hold of you or the company, what's the best way to do that, to learn more about what ACRE's doing and the companies that
They can go to our website, which is acre-co.com. They can get a hold of us through Kim Loy, who's on the phone, through Jenna from Compass. But there's an email on that site. They can call or get my email address. We're pretty open. LinkedIn is an easy way to find me, or through the company website. Happy to help and talk. We like talking about our business. We love this industry. It's been great for me. It's great for all of us. And we'll get through these times and carry on.